Hello world, welcome back to my channel. My name's Paul. Today I'm just doing a short one from Guildford, suburb of Perth. I'll show you around. It's one of the historic suburbs, but for now let's have a look at my brand newly edited intro. Now, we're just on the edge of Guildford here. It's on the Swan River. Look at it flowing, guys. So I'll tell you, we've had so much rain, it's very, very rare you see it this full flowing like this. But it's quite exciting, really. Now, Guildford was first established in 1829. It was one of three of the original towns built for the Swan River Settlement, and it was a very, very important part of the Swan River Settlement because this is as far as the Swan River is navigable. So everything from east of here, from Kalgoorlie, all the farming districts and everything, all had to come to Guildford to be carted up the river or shipped up the river, freighted, whatever they say. But yes, oh, look at that guy shooting along. Yes, he's be a lot harder coming back. Well, that's a bit sad. Just went to put the drone up by the river, but it's we're too close to the airport, so I won't be able to get any drone footage today. But you can see all these old buildings behind me here. You can imagine how I'm feeling today, but let's go and check out the train station. Now, my whole life I've always wondered why such an important part of Perth's history had such just a tiny little train station like this one. Beautiful old building that it is. When they put the train line through to Midland in the late 1800s, that sort of took the power away from Guildford because they didn't have to freight everything down the river anymore with the train. So they just got this tiny little waiting room. This beautiful old building here, this is Townsend House, and it's a Vietnamese restaurant now, but in its day, this was built in 1895, and it would have serviced everyone getting off the train right here. And this is the old village market. You can't really see it, guys, because they painted everything, but this is a gorgeous old building, 1905. But let's go and have a look at the Museum of Weirdness. The world's weirdest shop and museum of strange things, and we'll make the code word strange. Yeah, we've had such rotten weather last couple of months. What a beautiful sunny day. But here we are at the Artist Nook. We'll go on and have a look in there. We'll make the code word art. There's antique shops and things all along here, cafes.
Come have a beer with us in Guildford.
Perfect. And behind me here is the Guildford Hotel. This really is a gorgeous old building, 1880. They painted it up like maybe 20 years ago, but you can still see what an incredible old building. In 1876, there was a big shipwreck down at Yallingup, and the ship was called the Georgette. But there was a young 16-year-old girl called Grace Boswell, and she was the hero of the day because her and one of her Aboriginal workers rode their horses out into the surf over 50 times and saved pretty much the whole crew of the Georgette. She ended up marrying William Brockwell, and this was their house. It's known as Brockwell House. It's accountants now, but it is a pretty famous old building. Now, this is the Museum of Natural History. Mike, the owner, and his Russian wife, lovely people, but Mike's been a taxidermist for 45 years, and a lot of the stuff in here he's done himself. Amazing, but let's go in and have a look. And this one's the Sterling Arms Hotel. 1852, so there would have been a few old riverboaties drunk in here, and like I've said in a lot of my movies, guys, 1852 is pretty young for a lot of you overseas, but for us, you know, Perth was only established, the Swan River Settlement was only established in 1829. What a beautiful day. It's been cold and wet for 2 months, pretty much non-stop. Today's beautiful, so cheers guys. Look at this guys, Guildford Post Office, beautiful. And you can tell by the cracks in the walls and the cracks in the paint and everything that this is how it was when it was built in 1834. Now in 1829 a postmaster was appointed in Fremantle, but as the Swan River Settlement started growing, they decided that Fremantle wasn't enough. So this one, the postmaster was appointed here in 1834. And just look at this, absolutely beautiful. So this is the old Mechanics Institute. It was built in 1865, but there was no cars in 1865, so how could there be a Mechanics Institute? Well, in those days a mechanic was any sort of tradesman, craftsman. So yeah, this was pretty much the local TAFE. Now, this is old Taylor's Cottage from the 1860s. Now we're maybe 200 yards, maybe, I'm just guessing that, but the river's this way. And all the rich people, all the government, the governors and things, all lived by the river. But as you got further away from the river, the poorer people got. So this would have been a working man's cottage. And this is the old courthouse. Would have been a few people gone through here, I'd say, but it's now the Tourist Information Centre, and we'll make the code word same as all the code words for the information centres. Okay, so the lady in there just told me there's a 32-kilometre round tourist trip, and wineries and chocolate factories and nut factories and all sorts of things. So that, I'm not going to do that today, but that's well worth coming to the info place. They'll happily tell you about it. They'll also give you a tour of the little pioneer village out the back here. I showed you the cottage and things. I'm just going to head up here. There's another old pub up here, and I'm going to head back to the car. And this is the Rosen Crown, built in 1841. And they just told me this is the oldest pub in Perth, in Western Australia, but, not well in Perth, can't be Western Australia because Albany was built first, but if you remember in the Historic Pubs of Perth video I showed you the Groven Hotel, I'm sure they told me they were the oldest, so I'll have to check up on that one and let you know later. But look at this, what a stunning, stunning old building. Now, I just went and checked back in my old video, the Historic Pubs of Perth, and the Grosvenor was built in 1886, and the girl here believes that this has been continuously running. So when I said in the Historic Pubs of Perth that the Grosvenor is believed to be the longest running pub in Perth, continuously running, it might be wrong. It might be wrong, but it's good being able to go back and check. That Mad Dog's a font of information. And this is the old main street. And back in the early 1800s, it's all restaurants, art galleries and things now. Beautiful. You know, I'm seeing things today that I've never seen before. I've been coming to Guildford all my life. And this is Alfreds Kitchen. When I was young there was a few of these places around Perth. There used to be one on the river near Como. There used to be one in Birdswood before the casino was built. But this is the only one that's left. It was these takeaways, and they were so popular when I was young. But Alfred's still is very, very popular. And how many times have I said this to you guys? But here I am making a movie today and they're shut today. But that's life. They make the best pea and ham soup you've ever eaten. I get toasted ham and cheese sandwiches, 2 of them, and a pea and ham soup. Dip the sandwiches in the soup. They've been around since 1946. Someone just called out Mad Dog out of a truck. I don't know if you heard that. But these guys have been around since 1946. And they've been making that soup with exactly the same recipe since then. And I don't get to show you. I've been looking forward to pea and ham soup for lunch. Well guys, that was a little short one today. Guys, I say this a lot, but I'm surprised how much there is in Guildford. Now you can get a train from the city, you can get a train from anywhere pretty much for $3. It's just the local train. Come out here, you could spend a whole day out here, plan on having lunch at Alfred's, or maybe have lunch at one of the pubs and dinner at Alfred's, but make sure you try their pea and ham soup, absolutely delicious. If you don't know what the code words are for, I'll leave a link up here explaining how you can win a Mavic Mini drone If you haven't subscribed yet, guys, hit the Mad Dog icon up here or the subscribe button down below. Share this video everywhere you can. Give me a big thumbs up. We'll see you in the next one.